Aspects of meaning. In a previous video, we introduced the three aspects of meaning. There's informational, emotional, and social. In this video, we're going to define each of the three fairly quickly, and then in subsequent videos, we'll look at each one in turn. We'll start with the informational aspect because this is the one that we usually think of when we think of meaning. This is the aspect of meaning that indicates information that can be evaluated according to whether it is true or false. In other words, a sentence usually lines up with a proposition. A proposition is any statement that has a truth value. It's either true or false. And then the words themselves contribute to that propositional value. In this case, we're going to be looking at the taboo word shit. So if this guy were to say, there's shit in the toilet, that statement is either true or false. And we can see that shit is essential to determining whether it is true or false in that sentence. So for example, if he were to substitute a different word, say sugar cereal. So if he were to say, there's sugar cereal in the toilet instead of there's shit in the toilet, that would mean something very different and would have a different truth value. In this case, it would be false, whereas there's shit in the toilet is true. But there's also the emotional aspect to meaning, which is to say that words can contribute, can indicate emotions and the strength of feelings. When we're talking about taboo words, they typically have a valence. Taboo words, by default, are negative, whereas other words in the language, like love, may have a positive emotional valence. We also see that taboo words, compared to every other word in the language, have a very high emotional strength. They carry with them more emotional weight than any other words in the language, and this goes for any language. So, for example, we can look at this situation where this woman has spilled juice on another woman's shirt, and she says, "Oh shit, sorry." In this case, the shit carries with it just emotion, the strength of her feelings, that she feels bad about this. This is a strongly negative situation, and she's expressing her emotions about it. The sorry indicates a social meaning, which we'll talk about in a moment. But the shit is just purely expressing a emotion. And notice that the statement, "oh shit, sorry," carries with it no informational meaning. If we were to substitute that shit with another word like oops, it would have much less emotion to it. If she were to say, "oh, oops, sorry," that wouldn't express the same amount of emotion. And then finally, we look at the social aspect. This is the aspect of language that indicates the nature of social relationships and causes societal change. As I just indicated, sorry, for example, has social meaning, and really only social meaning. When we're looking at taboo words, they are defined by their social aspect, which is to say, tabooness is social meaning, or an aspect of social meaning. The fact that we have conventionally decided that certain words are off limits or taboo is a social meaning that we have connected to those words. Other aspects of social meaning could be, for example, register, that some words are more formal, some words are less formal. Taboo words tend to be rather informal. And then other aspects of meaning, of social meaning, could be, for example, words can be used complimentarily, insulting, they can be used to make promises, and so on. All of those different conventional aspects of language also would belong to their social meaning. Now, we can see then, for example, that certain taboo words carry with them the social meaning of being insulting. So the construction, eat shit, is devised to be demeaning, to be insulting. That's part of its conventional meaning in our language. So again, there are those three aspects of meaning: informational, emotional, and social. And in the following videos, we're going to look at each one in more depth.